The number one issue that I see over and over again is unworthiness, a feeling that we're not good enough.
Hi, I'm Carol Westmore, lead editor and publisher of the exciting global collection of stories, Tap Into Your Best Life. In this series, we spotlight our authors and explore the real-life transformation behind their chapters. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Brad Yates. Brad Yates is one of the world's best-known EFT teachers, and I like to call him the EFT wizard. He has more than 400,000 subscribers and over 1,700 videos on his YouTube channel, Tap with Brad. But most importantly, in the context of this interview, he is a featured interview in our book, Tap Into Your Best Life. Welcome, Brad.
Yeah, thank you, Carol. I'm happy to be here and happy to be in the book. Behind me, a picture of Michelangelo's David. What folks can see is that I have Davids everywhere. Miniatures of it, I have pictures. It has always been my favorite piece of art. Michelangelo said, the statue is already there, perfect, inside the marble. All I have to do is chip away what doesn't belong to reveal the masterpiece that's inside. And to me, that's a beautiful metaphor for what we're doing with tapping, because that best version of ourselves, our best self, that version of ourselves that lives our best life, that makes great choices, takes great actions, gets great results, is already there underneath all of this marble, all this excess marble that is, self-doubt and feelings of unworthiness and fear. And so with EFT, we're chipping away that excess marble to reveal the best version of ourselves, our best self. And then from that, we create our best life, that life that we most enjoy, that we're most proud of, that we're, thrilled to be living.
Yes, and I think what I've come to know with you is one of the reasons that we don't step into our best life is resistance. And what causes resistance? Is it stress? Is it past memories? What do you feel is the biggest clue as to why we resist having what we say we want?
Yeah. And that is the key, that the extent to which we don't have what we say we want tends to be resistance. And that resistance is experienced as stress. And that's why I always go to the other masterpiece from Michelangelo, where the creation hands, where Adam, man's finger, is just not quite reaching out. And to me, that's the resistance, that what keeps us from connecting to our higher self, to our goals. And that resistance is based on old programming. The why not? Why shouldn't I have health? Why shouldn't I have better relationships? What stops me? And we stop ourselves from taking the actions. In every aspect of our lives, the quote from me on the cover about what is sort of my tagline is feel better, do better, live better. And when we tap to allow ourselves to feel better, that gives us greater freedom to do better, which allows us to live better. And so it's looking at why not? Why am I not allowing myself to do better? What are the feelings I have? What are the old beliefs that I have about why it might be wrong to have better health? Why it might not be safe? Why it would be bad to have more money? Whatever goals I might have, whatever I say would be a better version of my life, there is part of me that is resisting that, either in what I am doing. So, for example, if we were going to talk about money, I may be resisting it by spending money in ways that I probably shouldn't, in avoiding doing things that would make more money. I do it in the things that I failed to do. And most people will say, I have no resistance. No, I absolutely want to have more money. I absolutely want to be healthier. I absolutely want to ... But if we are honest with ourselves and we look and look at our behavior, it's like, oh yeah, I did that thing that moved the needle in the wrong direction.
Yes.
Or I failed to do that thing that would move the needle in the right direction. And the only reason we do that is because we have some old programming about why we couldn't or shouldn't be, do, or have what we're saying we want. Because what we're saying we want, that's our conscious mind. That's what 5% of our mind. The other 95% is saying, our parents would be so unhappy with us if we did that. Our friends would be jealous. People would attack me. All kinds of things that we're not consciously aware of we're just finding ourselves not taking that action. And so the tapping, and when we try to make changes, then we have a stress response. We resist change. And so the tapping helps us calm down and go, let me look at this. Why might I resist this? Letting go of the idea, clearing the resistance to the idea that I have resistance and just accepting, because to me, it's always that. It virtually always resistance. I always come from the standpoint of anything in my life that I don't have yet that I say I want is on me. Just like with the creation hands. God's finger is completely outstretched. It's our hand, man's hand, that the finger is not reaching out.
Yes.
So if I want to get something to drink, I don't walk halfway to the refrigerator and then complain that the refrigerator isn't coming to me. It's up to me. I have to cross the distance. So it's always the extent to which I don't have it is my resistance. And then using EFT as a tool for calming down the fear that comes up and then clearing the fear that's behind all of that resistance.
What I've found, you then allow in the intuition and the input. And it's not from fear why you should or shouldn't do something. It's because you've cleared and you say, I'm open. I don't actually, in the times in my life where I haven't known what my next step was. But when I calmed down about the things, the situation I was at, and I then asked for kind of divine guidance or, from a quiet place, and that's when you've tapped away your resistance, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you look at the patterns in the 25 years since you trained with Gary Craig and then have been doing your videos, what is one issue that shows up? I mean, obviously resistance. Is there something else that keeps people from tapping into their best self and their best life?
The number one issue that I see over and over again is unworthiness, a feeling that we're not good enough, being convinced that we're not good enough. And so I'm going to have a hard time putting myself out there to be who I can be and do what I can do if part of me is saying, well, you're really not acceptable. You're not deserving. You don't deserve to have the rewards. You don't deserve to be seen. You have nothing to offer. And this can come up from our own misunderstandings of situations. We're standing in front of a group in class giving an oral report and we mess up a word and everyone laughs at us. And we go, oh, this means that I'm stupid. This means that I shouldn't be seen. Or someone has told us you're not good enough. Maybe a parent or some adult who is in a bad mood says, you little piece of crap, or whatever it might be. So there's all kinds of different ways that we get that messaging. And the excess marble gets piled on to the masterpiece that we really are, and we get hidden. So that is underneath most of the issues, not always, but underneath most of the things where I find people holding themselves back is some level of unworthiness.
And it just reminds me why there's so many people, more than 25, 30 contributors into Tap Into Your Best Life, who would probably never have thought or wanted to write a book, but when they were passionate about sharing their story, then somehow, and with encouragement obviously from me, we had writing parties, we teased out the best way to tell their story, then they're going to have a book. And can you imagine how that will, release some of that self-doubt that they're not worthy to be visible? And that's what I like about a co-author book in some ways. If it's rightly done, everyone in the book benefits from having you in the book, or Peter Stapleton. But they can sit up and say, my story is worthy. People are reading, and some of the stories, I'm getting goosepimples. I don't think you've read the book yet, Brad. You will be getting a copy when it launches on April 17th or before. But just from my perspective, having you in the book, giving these people a chance to share their stories, and some of them are absolutely what we would call miracle stories, and some of them are professional people dealing with, say, diabetes or eczema, who are finding that physically they can do better for their patients or their clients who tap, along with tapping, an emotional release. Yeah. So you've really hit on kind of an underlying theme of the book is, tell your story and have people listen.
Everyone has something to share that's of value to other people. It may be valuable to one other person. It may be valuable to millions of other people. The numbers aren't up to us, but it's just allowing us, I'm going to put myself out there and share that. And so that one of the great things is that you've created this opportunity for people to have an impact that they might have resisted.
Yes.
And so over the years, I've come up with various job titles. And so what do you do? Well, I'm an EFT practitioner. I'm a personal development consultant, whatever. One of my favorites that I've come up with is I'm a gift unwrapper.
Like it.
Because with David, Michelangelo was a gift unwrapper. The gifts were there inside the marble. He unwrapped them.
Yes.
Same with me. So the people, I believe everyone on this planet is a gift that's wrapped up. And so I help them unwrap whatever it is, the doubt, this unworthiness, the fear, to share the gift. Because when this world is receiving the gifts of everyone here from a place of excitement, as you said, when working with these other writers, it's like, oh yes, there's that passion to share something that makes a positive difference. It's not coming from some sort of ego thing of I want to be important and I want to prove this and all that. It's like, no, I just have something that I think will be valuable. And even if I'm not sure that it'll be valuable, if I feel passionate about it, that's a good key that it's probably going to be of value to at least one other person.
Yes. And that I think many of them didn't even know that someone like you would be in the book. As you recall, you came quite late into the book because it had got lost in your emails, your invite. But tell us your Facebook story.
So I can't remember how many years ago this was, but I was posting some of my YouTube videos on Facebook, and Facebook came to me and said, we want to do this promotional thing where we highlight content creators. Can we do that? Oh, and we'll pay you. It's like, I can reach more people and I get money. Hey, that sounds like a good deal. I said, but you just need to make sure that in whatever you put out there, there's an explanation of what I'm doing with the tapping. And I didn't know when they were going to be doing this. And my wife and I were coming back from a conference, and so we're sitting at the airport, and I'm just, killing time by scrolling through Facebook. And I see that my Facebook is blowing up. I have all of these comments on it. It's like, what's going on? Well, because Facebook had promoted this video of mine to a bunch of people that had no idea what tapping was. And they had neglected to put anything in there explaining what I'm doing. So suddenly a whole bunch of people who have no idea why see this video of this guy pop up on their feed, and he's talking, and suddenly he starts tapping on his face. Yeah. And not everyone thought, hey, that's cool. Yeah. And in fact, some people thought it was just downright stupid and awful. And as often happens on the internet, had no resistance to sharing what they thought about that. So I was getting all these negative comments, just awful comments about what an idiot I was and how I was. I can't remember what it is now.
Yeah.
It was pretty shocking, and I had to do a lot of tapping on it. And over that first couple of days, I got like 200 or 300 really, really nasty comments. But I also picked up 4,000 to 5,000 new followers, getting comments from people saying, I don't know what you're doing, but I feel so much better. Thank you so much. And to quote Hamlet, I was willing to suffer the slings and arrows.
Yes.
In order to make a difference. It's like, I will take 300 awful comments in order to reach 5,000 people with something that's going to help them feel better, do better, and live better.
Okay. And that's in retrospect, but I'm just thinking of you in that situation, seeing this. Did you have to start tapping a bit?
Yeah, I was like, what's going on here? Why am I getting so much hate right now? He's trying to do good things.
So when you look back now, you can see that, how it turned out. But I'm sure at the time when we get attacked, we have to pause and protect ourselves and say, you're okay. And even though this is happening, you're okay anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And it wasn't the first time, because I'd already been on YouTube. This is something that looks silly and downright stupid to a lot of people. And, almost 20 years now, I've been putting myself out there on the internet doing this for everybody to see, but it hadn't been pushed out to people in the same way. People had kind of
Yes.
stumbled upon it, but with
Yes.
this thing with Facebook, it had been pushed out to people who were not ready for it. And so it triggered a lot of things. I had already done some processing on that, but because it happened so much at one time, it was there. But the stance that I learned to take about it is this is pushing buttons for people. And if it wasn't pushing buttons, they would go, yeah, that's silly, and move on to the next thing. It's the triggering of there's something inside of me that wants things to be different, and you're offering me a way to make change. And how dare you get the hell out of my, and so it's like, good. Because if that's there, this might be something that loosens the lid on the
Yes.
jar. And so they may have this reaction and it's going to open something up, and they might see it again later and say, oh, I've seen this before. And they won't have that negative response. And then they see it again and it's like, what the heck? Okay, I'll try, even though, oh, you know what? I kind of feel better.
Yes, I think
So,
there's one story, someone in the book, her mother had so much pain and ill health going on in her life. And EFT was one of the ways, and some other protocols she knew. Her mother was close to it. And she said she learned that you can't rescue people if they're not ready.
absolutely.
And that would be an example where we take tapping to my adult children or someone and say, well, look, do you want me to tap a bit on that? They're just not ready for it.
But I was talking to someone on a call once, and she was like, there's 5 people in my life who need to tap. And I said, I'm only hearing one person that needs a tap, because it's not our job to make people change. I wrote a thing for teaching tapping to kids, and I say to parents, tap on yourself first in
Yes.
terms of what you want to change, because you don't want to be using tapping with kids to fix them so that it's easier for you. What you're doing is bothering me, so you need to tap. It's like, well, no, I want to tap on my feeling of being bothered so that when I'm sharing tapping with someone else, it's coming from the best place. It's for their good and not for my good. And it's great. I mean, it's great that it's for my good as well. As we help other people clear their stuff, they're going to show up better in our lives and it'll make life
Yes.
easier for us. But if that's our motivation, I'm going to fix you so that it's easier for me, it's not coming from the healthiest place.
Yes, exactly. And when I did my interview, it's entitled "Why the World Needs Tapping," and I'd like you to say, for 25 years, people have said, "What is this?" Well, in the beginning, what is this strange technique? Then there's been more and more proof of why it's working, the scientific evidence. So just looking at the world as we are today, and we're talking 2026, to put it out there in the world and see people getting empowered. What do you think about why the world needs it more than ever?
Well, and it's funny because using the word need, I always say need is a 4-letter word.
Okay.
Because when we call something a need, then it implies that until that happens, we have to feel bad. And it puts us in a victim mentality. If I say the world needs to tap, then I'm saying, and I have to feel pain until they do. So the next thing you said was, I think is much more on point of it's beneficial. It would certainly help, because especially in the information age where we're all walking around with a device that is constantly bombarding us with messages of all the awful things going on in the world. Hey, how you doing? You should be upset right now. Let me tell you the 15 things you should be upset about right now in this moment.
Yes.
And once we're done with those 15 things, I got 5,000 other things. And so we're always in a state of stress, pumping cortisol through our body, which damages our immune system and limits our digestive system and has all kinds of unfortunate consequences. So, and also as we're feeling that stress, the more stress we feel, the more our prefrontal cortex goes bye-bye. So our rational mind, that part of our mind that can find solutions to problems, isn't there. It's like, I can't be bothered to figure something out right now. I'm too upset about everything. Things get worse and worse. So having a simple tool for downregulating stress can be so profound in terms of allowing ourselves to calm down. And it's not a matter of dismissing what's going on. It's not a matter of going, oh, I tapped, so now I feel better. And so whatever's going on in the news,
Yeah.
conflicts in different parts of the world, who cares? Because I'm tapping, I feel so good. It's like, no, it's not about getting to a point of complacency. It's not a matter of I feel fine, so I'm turning a blind eye. It's like, I want to be in the best place to be able to say, where can I make a difference? Because just being outraged doesn't change things. Now, if I can turn that outrage into some positive action and actually come up with a solution. But if I'm just going, I'm upset and I think you should be upset, I think you should be upset. Now we're all upset and everything's energy. It's all connected.
Yes.
So are we moving the needle? I have a graphic that I have of a needle gauge that goes from fear and conflict to peace and love. And which way are we moving the needle? I'm constantly, and I'm going to tap while I say it. I'm constantly referring back to this great quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He said, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So am I moving the needle towards darkness or towards light? And I start with myself. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. I need to clear what isn't peace inside of me, because if I'm trying to create world peace from a place of conflict, probably not going to work out too well. For decades now, I've worn this blue wristband that says cultivate peace. So it's always there to remind me, this is your job. Job one, cultivate peace.
And I'm going to interrupt you there, because when you set out with your channel, it was the Tap of the Morning, I think, video. And so it would be lovely if you could share how you start your morning, your day. Give us an insight.
Absolutely. I have a morning routine where I do some stretching, but I do some meditating. I have a process of imagining loving, healing light flowing through me and out to the world. I consciously, deliberately send loving light first to my family, then to friends and neighbors, and then to everyone. Sometimes I will name particular people who I find very troublesome in the world. And I send them loving energies, like whatever is causing you to be doing these things. I'm hoping I'm sending you healing energy. Prayer of St. Francis that says, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. So part of my morning routine is saying, thank you for making me an instrument of peace. And then tapping to clear whatever gets in the way of me being an instrument of peace. Let me clear that. And I am not a saint. I am far from completely evolved. And I go into places of resentment and self-righteousness. And I just have gotten better and better at catching myself. I certainly find that, and I see things going on and things people are doing, and it's like, for you, I just want to teach them a lesson. It's like, I have to have peace inside before I can spread peace out there.
Yes.
I can't create peace out of beating people up for how they're not creating peace. So part of my morning routine is turning myself over to the divine and saying, help me be a better channel of your love. Help me be a better instrument of your peace, and help me clear the fears and doubts that are inside of me that make it difficult to do so.
And that's the compassion and then the humor, which just naturally bubbles up out of you. There is a question, we were talking about your morning routine, and then do you then sit down to do your videos? You said you have lots of ideas, even though you've got nearly 2,000. And do you imagine someone you are connecting with when you're doing them? Who do you imagine is on the other side of your tapping videos?
Yeah. It's not like I see a particular person. I just, I look straight in the camera and I turn it over, kind of surrendered. I have an idea. You said 1,700 videos or so, and probably at least that many ideas that I've come up with that I haven't shot a video for. And I'll have this long list. And instead of going back to that, I turn on the camera it's like, I should make another video. Or I'll just have an idea. It's like, oh, this would be a great video. And I'll make that, and still haven't gotten to all these other ideas that I have. It's just kind of taking divine direction. And sometimes I'll do a video and at the end I'll go, I guess that was okay. I guess that was probably something that might help someone. And almost invariably with every video I put out, someone says, this is the video I've been waiting for. This is my favorite thing. And so it's like, I just have to trust. And so I don't have a picture of that, but I'm just kind of trusting, just ideas of like, this would be something that might be a useful tapping video for somebody.
And that's your gift. You show up, and that's how I began your article. I said, you never set out to lead a global tapping movement. You simply kept showing up on camera and in service, tapping with warmth, humor, and a rare ability to help people feel safe, lighter, and more hopeful. And if people want to read the full interview with you, it's in Tap Into Your Best Life, along with Feel Better, Do Better, Live Better, and Be Magnificent. I think that sums up in a beautiful way how you do show up and how you make a difference in the world.
I'm very blessed that coming from the background of being an actor, that I'm just naturally more comfortable on camera. For a lot of people, it's like, I have to turn a camera on and I have to speak to people. And it's like, yeah, I've been doing this. So that was very fortunate for me, having been an actor and doing all kinds of plays by all kinds of playwrights, including Shakespeare. I have, a certain level of vocabulary. The words come to me in a way that, it's not that I'm better or more brilliant. It's just I've been blessed to have the experience that I have that comes through in that. And as you said, when YouTube was first coming out back in the early 2000s, I just had an idea of, hey, that would be a fun place to do a tapping round and, something that could help people feel better. And I'll call it Tap of the Morning. And that was all I intended to do. I had no idea, wow, I could put a bunch of videos out on YouTube. I did that
just
one.
developed.
I didn't do it for 6 months till the next one came out. It's like,
Really?
here's another idea, and then they just kept coming, and it's just like, okay, if this is a way that I can help the world be a better place, if I can help people feel more peace, let's do it.
Then I was going to ask you, but you do have times when you do show up in person. And you told me once that actually there's something, maybe the actor in you that likes a live audience as well. So tell us just a little bit about what you'd like to do, what you do in that arena.
Yeah, it's still having a live audience is the best thing. It's because I can see the difference that I'm making. I can, particularly if something funny comes through me, and fortunately, because a lot of my background as an actor was doing comedic work, British comedies and things like that. And I love to bring humor into it. It's the spoonful of sugar that helps the medicine go down.
Yes.
Because we're often talking about very serious things.
Exactly.
And, I've said, I take my work very seriously. I just don't always present it in a serious manner.
Yeah.
Because to have that lightness makes it so much easier for folks. But yeah, I love that. Here on my computer screen, I have my biggest goal, my most favorite thing to imagine is doing a presentation at the Royal Albert Hall in London. So I've superimposed a picture of myself on stage at Royal Albert Hall with a full audience and just imagining that many people and helping folks up level their energy and just feel better and then do better and live better. And there's a group energy that's so much fun. When we're able to do it, we can do it online. So I do a daily Zoom call with folks where we're raising our energy levels. But when you have that in the room and it's just palpable, and it's an amazing experience.
So we look forward to hearing more about that in the coming months and years. So thank you, Brad. I'm going to end there, and it's just been lovely having this relaxed chat. Because last time I was with you, I was doing tag tapping, and that actually was not. I was going so fast, and then you just calmed it all down, and you did that lovely meditation at the end. And I actually said to someone, I'm not really cut out to be a YouTube tapper. I had to say that, but I'm glad I did it because, that was what I was called to do that day. But
Right. Careful. So I'll take this opportunity, if you'll allow me, is that we often say that, to go back to that thing of the feelings that we often have of unworthiness. And one of the ways that comes out is when we say, I'm not cut out to, because it's unfamiliar at this point.
That's true.
It's not something I'm used to. And now it's not that you should. It's not that everybody should be on YouTube. There's no shoulding there about, we can't. But so if we say, you know what, that's not my medium. So, for
Yes.
instance, you're all about books. Writing is not my favorite thing to do. I much prefer having it come through me in a
Yes.
presentation. Like when you said, "Can you write something?" It's like, I'd rather have you interview me and be able to talk about it. I have more fun talking about things
Yes.
than
Yes,
writing.
we have our
So we have
zones
our
of genius.
preferences, but
Yes,
it's
yes.
not a matter of saying, "I'm not cut out to be a writer," and downplaying and finding it and saying it in a way that seems limiting.
Well,
It's a
I'm
matter
pleased
of
you pointed
going,
that out because everyone in the book I'm encouraging to go on podcasts and talk about their chapter and their work. And if they had that attitude, because I'm sure, at least I'm a podcaster, so I've got a
yeah,
certain amount of, possibility to be on camera. But for everyone else, just do your best. And as you say, it probably gets easier and easier as time goes on after a few hundred tries or even a few tries. You begin
yeah,
to say, okay, it wasn't my best, but hey, I did it.
yeah. Yeah.
The,
I know someone who said who has a huge, huge YouTube following, much bigger than mine, but he talks about how, it's like my 100th video that I started to think that's okay. And I'm like, yeah, my first video, some people still say it's their favorite video. But because I had all of this process beforehand of being on camera, so I was nervous. That wasn't my first time. My first YouTube video was not my first time on
yes.
camera. So we get to decide what we want to get comfortable with. We don't
Yeah.
have to, no one is required to be comfortable on camera. We just don't want to. If there's a part of us that says this would be a great way for me to share my gifts and talents and make a difference, we don't want to limit ourselves by saying I'm not cut out for that because we don't know.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's always
so I
the
just,
word yet, isn't there? I'm not
yeah,
as comfortable as I'd like to be on a YouTube video yet. So
yeah,
maybe I'm just saying that because you caught me saying that. And what about all the people in our book who are going to be putting themselves out there and going to have people question them about their amazing chapters? They must just do their best. Thank you so much. And we welcome this chance to hear a bit more about your philosophy, Brad. Thank you for everything you do.
thank you. And thank you for this opportunity to be in this book. I'm confident it's going to make a big difference for a lot of folks.
If something in this conversation resonated with you, especially around unworthiness or holding yourself back, I invite you to share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Because transformation begins when we stop being silent. Brad Yates is one of our featured voices in Tap Into Your Best Life, EFT Tapping Stories of real-life transformation and healing. He features alongside 30 global contributors, powerful practitioners from around the world. The book is now available for pre-order ahead of our April 17th launch, and you'll find the link below. Until next time, keep tapping, keep growing, and stepping into your best life.